There's something they're still not telling us.
Why the f aren't they telling us?
You guys want a part 3? So here's a part 3. 3 crazy conspiracies that might be true. Rebel, what do you got?
Let them clean the puke off my floor.
You puked?
No.
Why aren't they telling us?
Boy, do I have something for you guys, okay? I want everyone to think about the weirdest thing you've ever eaten.
I bet rattlesnake.
I'm thinking like alligator.
Now, I got a story that's 10 times worse. What about human? You ever think of human? You ever wonder what we taste like? We got some meaty meats on us.
Nope.
You guys don't know, cannibalism has been around for ages, thousands and thousands of years. There's a group, I'm sure many of you people have heard it before, where it's a group in Papua New Guinea, where there was a tribe, and apparently a bunch of them just kept dying out off of rapid rates. And so people look at them, they're like, hey, you're all dying for like the same reasons, like 300 plus every year for like the same reasons. Why is this happening? And so a group of scientists looked deeper into this, and they realized there's a little disease called kuru. Now, if you don't know what kuru is, it's a loss of bodily functions where your muscles pretty much stop working, you can't feed yourself, you can't walk, you can't breathe, and you ultimately die. There's a little protein called prions that is just floating around inside your nervous system. Now, if you get a bunch of these, it's going to cause what is called prion disease and destroy you, aka kuru. And so this was popping up in all these other people in Papua New Guinea. And so they're like, why is this disease here? They see that whenever someone dies, these people would eat the deceased person because it was in their culture where they believe that the spirit would live on through them. Yeah, their spirit would live on through them and it would accompany them in the afterlife. The scientists were like, this is a problem. These prions are being passed down through generation, just building up. Obviously, at this point, it's destroying this community. It's destroying this population. I actually don't know what the population is like today. However, there are still some cases that pop up every now and then. With cannibalism, still, it's a taboo, if you will. Like the one German guy that ate some dude's dick. That guy, shout out to him, weird champ.
It's also illegal.
It's very illegal for this exact reason why I'm talking about.
It's not just taboo. It's illegal. Well, it's illegal. It's a crime.
It's a crime, but also very illegal because there's some scientific issues with it because it'll kill you. But what if I was to tell you that you could find yourself some human to eat? What if I was to tell you that there are some restaurants that serve human meat? And you could have it. Now, we do know of some cases in Nigeria and Brazil that have popped up and some weird, questionable shit happened there. We're not going to dive into those stories. If you do want to look at it, find it on the internet yourself. I want to bring you a story about a restaurant in LA, California. There was a website that popped up around, 2018, caught wave. A lot of people were like, what the fuck is this? And on there, it's saying, hey, we serve human meat for you guys. A full cuisine of human meat. You can come over, you can eat it. It tastes good. And, it's delectable. Now, the website was called Cannibal Club. And let me read you a little bit from what is on that website. When you look at the website, the first thing you see is a quote. Now that quote is, whenever taboo is broken, something good happens. Something vitalizing. Now, going on with their about section, specializing in the preparation of human meat, Cannibal Club brings the cutting edge of experimental cuisine to the refined palates of LA's cultural elite. Our master chefs hail from around the world with the opportunity to practice their craft free of compromise and unbound by convention. And now it goes into how a lot of their clientele are like big filmmakers, professors, celebrities, stuff like that. Let me just get down right to the nitty gritty. I'm sure you guys are like, what is the menu? I want to know what they're serving.
Ass cheeks.
Well, they're not just laying down a platter of ass cheeks, dude. They're chefs, dude. It's a craft. It's an art, you know? This week's menu includes penne pasta with meat sauce.
Oh.
A delicious meat sauce made from the fresh heirloom tomatoes and multigrain penne noodles. Multigrain because, you know, you gotta watch your heart and some shit like that. Sirloin steak. Now, for me, I thought steak was a cow.
Steak is a cut.
You
can have a steak of anything.
All right, well, steak, human steak, liver and mushroom pierogi. I don't know what that word is.
You pick the most disgusting stories every time.
Placenta lasagna.
Oh my god! Please stop.
Minced placenta mixed up in the layers, and then also Mrs. Lovett's meats pie. So that's all nice and gross.
Who's
and,
Mrs. Lovett?
Dude, great lady. She's a great lady. She got that meat, dude.
She's not.
She got that meat. So many of you are probably thinking this is illegal. They're just getting bodies from random people off the street. There's got to be someone hit like doing a hit squad. I did some more research. I was like, this can't be real. And you look on the internet, fact checkers don't know how true that is because some weird shit's been going on with that stuff. But they said this was a fake story. And so you're like, oh shit, okay, it makes sense. This has to be a fake story. People aren't out here eating people. However, there's got to be something about this. Why is this website still up? Why is there shit still happening to this day? And now I found out that there's a restaurant called The Hollydale out in LA. It's a private access website, which unfortunately I cannot find these records to do it. This is all hearsay based on people. Many of these claims are similar. Do you believe in this conspiracy? Do you think this is real? That these people, there's a special cannibalistic organization, restaurant that we just don't know about?
I think the next person I get mad at, I'm going to sign them up.
Like you can put yourself, you're like, hey, I'm going to die. I don't want to get cremated. I want my family and friends to eat me.
I don't want that.
I'm confused. How do they do that with what we said? Like you can't eat humans because you die. So like, how do you get around that?
Well, that's the question because you don't eat humans because you will get prions. Fun fact though, I did find out that prions, you can't destroy them. They just exist. When someone has prions and they like get a positive case, like say they do an MRI, they find like giant holes inside your brain because the prions just fucked it up so much. They have to throw that whole MRI machine out the door. They have to just toss it and burn it. And burning doesn't help it.
Radiation
does not help it. Does not kill it 100%.
We need to weaponize it.
That's the problem. We can't do that because it's so bad.
I just finished throwing up. Messiah, what do you got?
Yeah, I second that because that was brutal. Anyways, I'm going to take you guys over to Colorado, to Denver International Airport. Now, a lot of you guys probably thinking, some of you conspiracy buffs probably know kind of where I'm going with this, but for others that don't go, what's an airport? What's going on? Denver International Airport is filled with weird statues, creepy art, and conspiracies. We got to ask ourselves, why was this airport even built? So the current Denver airport opened in 1995, but when it opened, there was already a fully functioning airport that was already built, and it was closer to downtown Denver. So really off the rip, people were already kind of like, why the heck are we even building this? The new version of this airport is twice the size of Manhattan, and I believe is the largest airport in the US, I believe, just the US. The final development of this airport went $2 billion over budget.
It's like the budget of the new Rings of Power.
Oh.
So off the rip, people are already like, holy crap, what's going on here? We'll kind of circle back to that a little bit here because there's a lot of different angles with this whole Denver airport thing. Outside of the airport, and this is pretty notable, the famous 32-foot statue with fiery red eyes. And at nighttime, people have pictures and videos of it. The eyes just glow red. A lot of locals around the area and just people on the internet refer to this horse as Blucifer. It was a sculptor named Luis Jimenez in 2006. And he was working on this blue Mustang statue for the Denver airport, and it broke off a hoist and fell on him and cut an artery in his leg, and he died.
I'm looking at this statue right now, and it looks so evil.
I've seen it. It's crazy looking. You do see the red
crazy.
eyes. It's cool.
It even has an asshole. I'm just going to add that.
Inside the airport, there's even more bizarre things. Now, a lot of the things that I'm going to reference have been since removed, but they're were removed because there's a lot of controversy and I think a lot of heat behind it. And there's several pictures around of this art in the airport. One includes what some refer to gargoyles, but when you kind of look at it, really just looks like a devil that's jumping out of a suitcase. And that's right by the baggage claim, which is kind of weird. It's like, why do you have that in the airport? Then you keep going around. There's a giant statue of Anubis. For anybody that doesn't know, Anubis is the ancient Egyptian god of death. This caught a little bit of mainstream attention, and again, I mentioned a lot of that art has been removed. Other pieces of art, and this is where things get really weird, is a piece that resembled a Nazi officer in a gas mask wielding a machine gun with a sword at the end of it, and then he's holding another sword. There's another piece with some children that look like they're terrified in front of like a burning forest. Just a mural on the wall in the airport when you're walking by. There's another mural. This one's huge. A group of kids, not all kids, but mostly kids. If you look at them individually, they are all eerily smiling. It's one of those like situations when you look at it, it feels like they're like looking at you. It freaked me out when I was actually looking at it. But what's weird about that is they have all the nationality flags, kind of like not all of them, but a lot of them represented. But within the flags are knives wrapped in the flags. There's even another mural with a recreation of a child letter from a child that was in Auschwitz. These are all murals just like on the walls while you're walking around.
It's unneeded. Like, you don't need that stuff there. Like, I'm just trying to go to Hawaii. Why is there Auschwitz here?
You're like passing like a blue, like fucking horse demon with red eyes, and you go in, and then you're like looking at paintings of like children smiling at you with like the forest burning. You're like, what's going on here, dude? It's wild, man. So going outside the airport, now this is where things get a little bit weird. So put on your tinfoil hats here. The runways of the airport, if you zoom out and look at the top view of the airport, the runways make almost a perfect swastika formation.
Oh my God, they do.
They make a swastika formation, which is highly, highly uncommon for airport runways. There's been a lot of, in my reading and a lot of research you can find, the people that quote unquote designed it said it's for weather purposes where they could launch from any angle. If you look at New York's airport, Vegas, Miami, they all have these patterns, maybe either like a T formation or maybe like an acute triangle type formation where you can achieve the same goal with a lot less runways and not make it look like a swastika. There's also outside the airport plaques and markers all over the airport, different ones. And one is a plaque dedicated to what it says, the New World Order Airport Commission. That is believed to be the group that helped fund or launch this new airport. On this plaque, if you look, there's a weird symbol on it. And when you really look at it, it really looks eerily similar to the Freemasons Masonic Square. This fuels that the airport was funded by the New World Order, Airport Commission, which is believed to be ran by the Nazis. When you research the New World Order Airport Commission, there is nothing that pops up. It is almost non-existent. The little that pops up just kind of redirects to the Denver airport and then kind of like people like us that want to know, the truth. The date on the plaque is dedicated to the New World Order Airport Commission with the date of March 19th, 1994. Boys, this is where it gets really weird. If you add up the numbers, so you go 1 plus 9 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9, you know what I'm saying? For 19th, 1994, you get 33. 33 might seem like an insignificant number, but if you know anything about the Freemasons, 33 in their hierarchy, if you will, is the highest level that one person can achieve. What's also weird is the plaque states that there's a time capsule buried below it that needs to be opened in the year 2094.
That's so eerie. It says the time capsule beneath this stone contains messages and memorabilia to the people of Colorado in 2094.
A former airport construction worker claimed that there's five multi-story buildings that are built underneath the airport, which many people tie that back to why they were $2 billion over budget. It's also said that there are complex network of tunnels beneath the airport connecting these different multi-story buildings. With the New World Order and everything coming up, there's a lot of talks with the Illuminati being tied in there as well. All these kind of secret societies. This is their one place, their end all be all. So if there's a post-apocalyptic fallout, they go there. Now, there's no way you can't get down there. There's no way you could just go to Denver Airport and be like, I want to see the tunnels. They'll tell you to get lost. So obviously, a lot of this is up for debate. But with all the contact clues and everything with the Denver Airport, kind of makes you think, really, what's going on there?
I've been to this airport before. So, and I've done a little bit of research on there, just a tad bit way back in the day.
Yeah, feel free to add anything that I didn't cover, man.
So I did hear, now the proportions and ratios might be off because this is going purely from memory. I believe that the airport itself is 1/3 of the land that that they were planning and building on, which goes into effect with your $2 billion skyscrapers that are buried beneath the earth.
Yep.
Where it's like, hey, if we have this giant land, we put it in the middle of nowhere, which, by the way, it's like an hour to just get to like mainland, like cities and everything. You're literally just driving in an open field.
Like, why?
Exactly. Why? Why is it so massive and big in the middle of nowhere away from society for just like, 1/3 of what you guys plan to use? It makes no sense. But from a personal perspective, while I was there, I was looking at the ground and I was like, what are all these arrows pointing to on this ground? There's random arrows pointing in different directions, but they're like slightly skewed. And I was like, maybe it's directions, but then I'm like, the direction doesn't make sense. And it just did not align with the building itself. So that was weird to me. That was a personal perspective there. But also while being in there, I don't know if you guys know what it actually looks like. The main area is basically a bunch of tents that you're under. And I'm looking up on top and it looks like almost like a prison raft. Like there's prison lights shining down at you. If you get rid of that, it's like you're in an open yard.
I will say there's way more rabbit holes that come to this with FEMA being involved, and that this is a place where it's like the ultimate FEMA camp. Like, it gets deep, man. Kind of freaks me out, man. I kind of went down like a little bit of a rabbit hole going like researching a lot of this. It's pretty nutty.
Yeah, these fucking murals are crazy. I'm looking at them right now. The one that's called In Peace and Harmony with Nature.
Is that the one that has all the kids on it?
It's like the Burning Forest one.
Dude, that one's crazy, man.
There's like a dead kid and like there's like 3 dead people in like laying in coffins, it looks like. And then it's like kids crying over like a dead like jaguar. And then like all these kids are like trying to.
Yeah, the one kid's like holding like a squirrel, right?
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to like save these animals and put them in glass cases.
Penguin.
My nature, yeah, the penguin too. But my nature mind immediately was like, that kid could never hold that squirrel.
Yeah. Thing would be all over him, dude.
Crazy, man. It was like an acid trip looking at those.
Speaking of acid trips, Fritz, what do you got for us?
Have you ever felt like you're being watched? Maybe you hear a shuffle, a footstep behind you. Maybe you see somebody suspicious that catches your eye. Maybe you get the feeling that the car behind you has been tailing you a little too long to be normal. You're not alone. Tens of thousands of people worldwide experience this to the fullest extent. And the phenomenon is called gang stalking or mob stalking. Is it the government? Is it the NSA? The police? In Fresno, California, 2016, John Lang's a former U.S. Marine. John Lang blows the whistle on a police operation in Fresno, an unethical police operation at that, where the police would drive their cruisers to low-income neighborhoods, circle around the parking lot of markets, grocery stores, and scan license plates to see who had violations, warrants, etc. Then as the cars pulled off, the police would pull them over, acting like it was a routine traffic stop for something insignificant, knowing the record of the person driving. John Lang blows the roof off of the operation. He finds out about the whole thing and posts it to a Fresno community forum online. Now, somebody who either works for, helped build, or frequents the Fresno Bee finds out it's John and doxes his address on the forum, which catches the attention of the Fresno police. So John is now suspicious. Thinks he's being followed. He's got a camera on his porch that captures a wide angle of his front yard, which is gated because his front yard straddles a road. So he's got a wrought iron gate that wraps around his whole front yard, sits next to a road. So you can watch cars go by all day, people walking. That's exactly what happened. Cars would go by, only he would capture on his front porch camera a van going by with its side doors wide open and a man pointing some sort of highly expensive camera. I'm not talking like a camcorder or a cell phone. I'm talking like a huge camera rig that you have to control with like the motorcycle handles. Highly expensive. Van drives by John's house, doors wide open, filming his house. That's not all he captured on his camera. He captures somebody routinely walking by his house, walking their dog. Only they stop every time, reach over the fence, and pet John's dog, who's in the front yard. John thinks that this person is routinely coming by and trying to condition John's dog to his scent. A few days later, John catches a bunch of Fresno police straight up parked outside on the road right in front of his house, out of their cruisers, standing in a circle, staring at John's house. Just like some sort of crazy intimidation tactic. John starts to get real paranoid. And one night, two individuals stop John as he's walking into his front gate to his front yard. They body block him from entering his front gate, and John is forced to jump over his wrought iron fence into his yard. Afterwards, John claims he thinks these individuals are civilian clothed police officers. A few days later, John's getting even more stressed out, even more scared, even more paranoid. He starts posting to Facebook saying, "Is there any way someone can come stay the night? Please be a registered firearm owner." Also stating, "If anything happens to me, it's the result of the Fresno police," claiming that they've been stalking him. One of the last things John captured on his front porch camera is very suspicious. It's a van that has a carpet cleaning logo on the side. There's a rather bulky man standing outside the van, right in front of John's house, kind of leaning into the passenger side, looking around, glancing at John's house, but also looking in the van. The very same week, a couple days later, in fact, John is found with 3 knife wounds to his back, dead in his house on the floor, and his house is on fire. John's death was ruled by the Fresno autopsy team as a suicide.
Worst case of suicide you'll ever see.
Even though the knife wounds were to his upper back. And I don't know about you guys, but if I ever tried to delete myself, I don't know if I'd be trying to stab myself in the upper back.
No, what? No.
Well, he's just pigeon winging the whole time.
Okay, I'm gonna try not to laugh because this is a real guy. On the official autopsy report, there are 2 witnesses listed, and they are none other than 2 Fresno police detectives.
Of course.
Which I don't know about the last time you guys checked, but I didn't know police had to be present, especially detectives, at the time of autopsy. I thought it was the job of just the examiner.
Depends
True.
on what kind of case it is, but yeah.
This isn't the first time that the Fresno police autopsy examiner has had some questionable publications. A few years prior, a Fresno police officer got let go from the force. He later that day went over the chief of police to confront him, and then his body was found with a gunshot wound to his back, dead. And the Fresno police autopsy examiner, you guessed it, ruled it a suicide. To top it off, above everything else, you want to know what the craziest thing is? That carpet cleaner van outside John's house, parked on the street, the company name doesn't exist. It's not real. The company's not listed anywhere. It's not in any postings. It's not online. Mysteriously, 4 days after John's death, it appears on Google, and it only has 1 review posted 4 days after John's death.
Was the person reviewing it named John?
No. So, you be the judge. Are you a targeted individual? The next time you hear a footstep behind you or see someone glancing up from their cell phone watching you walk by, keep John Lang in the back of your mind. Are you next? I guess time will tell.
Sure.
That's a little crazy.
Are you fucking about to die? Are you next, bitch?
There goes 3 more crazy conspiracies that might just be true on another episode of Darkest Secrets here on Plastic Lounge Podcast. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with us. If you want a part 4, let us know in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, and join the Discord if you want to give us any suggestions, if you have any personal experiences or any suggestions you want us to do topics about. Join the Discord. We have a whole topic section in there. You can punch it in and chat with us offline. Thanks again. We love every single one of you.
I'll kiss you on the mouth.